Welcome to Mornings on Main Street. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. Rodney Scott's at Chiefs on Broadway is becoming a barbecue favorite. Catherine Mayhew breaks down the menu, talking to us about the lip-smacking good barbecue offered. And then later on, we take a look back at the first Grassroots and Nudie Suits Festival in Madison. But first, let's get a check of the forecast.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Good Tuesday morning, Taylor Plott here. The quick update on your forecast. Starting off your Tuesday morning with some clouds, maybe an isolated shower. More isolated showers and storms can be anticipated during the afternoon hours. A lot of places just remaining dry and hot, with temperatures getting up into the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. Tuesday evening, still holding on to a small chance of an isolated shower with some cloud cover around, and even into the overnight hours, early morning hours across southern Tennessee. Cannot completely rule out some lingering showers across the area. Here is your 7-day forecast. Isolated showers and storms continue for a handful of days over the next 7 days. Not widespread activity by any means. Temperatures will be getting up into the middle 90s for some areas on your Thursday, and then we slowly dip back down into the upper 80s by the time we hit the weekend.
If you want the latest in weather conditions, be sure to tune in to our Busy Bee Plumbing Weather Report each weekday on Mornings on Main Street. Brought to you, of course, by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. We will keep you updated on the latest conditions outside, like severe weather, heat, snow, rain, and even hail. If you made it down to Broadway, you know you have the Chiefs Bar down there, which is fantastic, a great spot to hear some music and grab a beer. But you'll find much more than that at the Chiefs location. You'll also find Rodney Scott's Whole Hog Barbecue for our Let's Eat segment today with Catherine Mayhew. She talks about how delicious and unique this barbecue is. Catherine, great to see you.
Same here.
So let's talk barbecue and what we see on this plate.
Well, what you see on that plate is whole hog barbecue. And just to separate Rodney Scott from literally the rest of the world, when we get barbecue here, or actually in most places in the U.S., if it's pork, it's generally a shoulder,
okay,
or a butt, which is the front part of the pig. Whole hog is very difficult to do. It's extremely time consuming. And so hardly anybody else does it but Rodney Scott. So the fact that we have an outpost of his right here in Nashville is super important to me personally. I'm a former barbecue judge, and I've eaten a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And the whole hog, just for context, when you get barbecue at any other barbecue place, it's going to be good, no question. But you're going to see a lot of bark, a lot of that dark outer area. And then, the interior. Well, whole hog, it doesn't quite look like that because there's more meat, obviously, in a whole hog than there is in a small, piece of meat. But what you get is a mixture of everything the glorious hog has to offer. You get the butt part, but you also get the ham, the back, sort of leg. You get the loin in the middle. You get the ribs. You get the area of the pig that produces bacon. And all of that, when it's done, what happens is they make it on a pit, wood-fired pit only. Mm-hmm. So you have to burn down the logs. Then the logs have to turn into coals. And then you have to shovel those coals from the burn area into the actual smoker. And then they're like two sort of wire mesh. It looks like a gurney almost, that you put the hog on. You sort of strap it in, and then it goes on the fire, usually backside down, so the fat's rendering, and then you flip it over at an interval, and it takes hours. It's like 16 hours to do this thing. And
is the flavor distinct enough that you would know if it's a whole hog being cooked versus just a shoulder or a portion of it?
I think I would now, actually. My experience eating whole hog is not a lot, because hardly when I was judging barbecue, there was only one competitor who did whole hog back then. So it's not common, which is why it's so special that it's here now. And people can judge for themselves if they can taste the difference. But I think now that I've had it and being slightly discerning in this area, I think I would know that it's whole hog. And just quickly to back up, Rodney Scott's story briefly is so interesting. He grew up in Hemingway, South Carolina, very humble beginnings. His dad ran a grocery store out in the middle of nowhere. And on the weekends, they would do whole hogs and they would sell barbecue out, off the counter to people who just showed up to buy it. Well, fast forward, his father retires. Rodney's now doing this by himself, which is like literally up at 4 a.m, cutting wood, making coals, tending the fire all day long. And as sadly more than once has happened at a barbecue restaurant, it burned down. The pits all burned. And so the Southern Foodways Alliance, which is a Southern-based food enthusiasm group, had found him, and it was starting to champion his way of doing things. And so they set up what they called the Rodney Scott Barbecue and Exile Tour. And he went around the country, borrowed people's pits, made whole hog barbecue, raised enough money not only to rebuild his place in Hemingway, but to open his first brick and mortar in Charleston.
You're not just getting great barbecue, but the sides taste like your grandmother made them, right?
They really do. He does a macaroni and cheese that I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's baked instead of just in a pot, which is a very Southern thing to do. I'm a big fan of baked macaroni and cheese. It's super cheesy. The noodles are perfectly done. The collard greens, they have a hit of vinegar, everything. The cornbread, controversial. I am a sweet cornbread person, and that's how they make it.
Okay.
And they serve it in a teeny tiny little mini loaf, which I'm also a fan of.
Well, obviously it speaks for itself. Catherine, thank you for sharing this with us. And if we're on Broadway, we need to make sure that we're running into the Chiefs there and up to Rodney Scott's whole hog barbecue.
So worth it. So worth it. Please try it.
We'll do it. Until the next time. Thank you so much again, Catherine, for this. Rodney Scott's whole hog barbecue. I mean, this looks fantastic. You've seen some of the other pictures. Definitely stop by. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
He shoots and he scores!
Deep in a forest at Nashville Zoo, new creatures here for you to view. Phantoms graced in black and white swing high in trees of dappled light. In rocky crags, tall and steep, small antelopes with nimble feet. A wise old man with beard of white, a sentry perched on stony height. Amidst it all, a hunter lies, with coat of gold and steely eyes. A new adventure just for you. Leopard Forest at Nashville Zoo. Open now.
Welcome back. Madison's rich legacy in country music and the arts were celebrated Saturday with the inaugural Grassroots and Nudie Suits Festival in homage to Nudie Cone. Madison Chamber President Laura Knotts shares why this festival will become an annual event.
Right behind me is Amqui Station. It was a working train station, and they were going to tear it down until Johnny Cash said, "No, thank you. I would like that to stay." He moved it to his property in Hendersonville, and then when he passed, the community came together, Grassroots, and brought it here. They got the land donated. They built this wonderful stage for live music, and it's just one example of the rich musical history. We have Hank Snow's Rainbow Ranch, his home that's now been turned into a bed and breakfast, and they sought out items from his personal collection that had been sold and brought it back, including some of his nudie suits that are on display there. Ring of Fire, ridden less than a mile from where we're standing. And I could go on and on and on. Patsy Cline, Earl Scruggs. This used to be the place for country music. We want to bring the community together and teach them about the history if they're new here, and just celebrate the history if they're not new to the area. So, there's lots of different festivals in different neighborhoods to bring that pride of place. and Madison needed one. So we're digging into the history of all the musical artists that used to live here, celebrating that, and also celebrating how some of that fashion tends to be cyclical. You may have noticed that nudie style suits have been popular again. Norah Jones wore a very similar blazer on her Tiny Desk concert recently. Post Malone, Lil Nas X, Orville Peck, they all wear that kind of style now. So we're just super excited, and we want people to be able to come out and get to know one another, say howdy.
Late nights turning in early mornings, with my buddies.